Just when you think it cannot get any more gross, just when you think there is nothing sacred that Meghan Markle has not yet used in her grey, craven desire for publicity and for sales, she goes and does this. All they had to do was shut up. Shut up and do nothing.
Before Meghan even arrived in Britain, many issued one explosive warning. They predicted that the Sussexes could take the children to Althorp, create emotional images connected to Princess Diana, and turn one of Harry's most sacred family moments into valuable content.
That would be gold for Harry, for Meghan, well, let's be honest, for Meghan.
At the time, it sounded almost too calculated to be true. Now the trip has happened. Meghan has published an Althorp photograph herself, and the warning that once sounded outrageous suddenly looks terrifyingly close to what unfolded.
They couldn't do that from Australia or Canada or wherever else they wanted to go to. So they came here to take pictures from that. I'm sure that's the only reason they wanted to come, not to see the king, not to see anything else, but to be able to go to Althorp and take photographs.
And, Angela, they couldn't resist publicising their UK return.
The image appears to show Harry walking across the estate with the children, while large bouquets of flowers are carried through the grounds. There is no proof that a documentary was filmed, no confirmation that secret footage exists, and no evidence that Netflix ordered a Princess Diana project. But that is exactly why this story has exploded.
Diana's brother, the Earl, had said no cameras, and by that he meant no camera crews, but he clearly didn't mean a camera phone, which means, of course, when they went over to the island, there was obviously a camera phone with them. Is there photos? Are there videos? You know, we've all heard talk of the Diana documentary that Harry is thinking of doing next year for the 30th anniversary of her death, which is also incredibly ghoulish.
Because critics were not reacting to a photograph taken in some random garden. They were reacting to Althorp, Diana's childhood home, the estate where she is buried, and one of the most emotionally charged places in Harry's entire life. Someone followed that family walk with a camera. Meghan later selected the image, placed it inside her public photo dump, and sent it out to millions.
She loves the attention in the worst possible way. She's the worst person you actually want to marry as a royal because she knew exactly what she was doing. She knew exactly the attention that marrying Prince Harry and being in a relationship with him would gain her, but she specifically played dumb to him, and he believed her.
The visit may have been private, the tribute may have been sincere, but the content was made public. And the question now ripping through royal circles is brutal. Did Meghan simply reveal a family tribute, or did she expose the first glimpse of a much larger Diana operation?
The pictures that they need to secure for the documentary next year do not actually have to be filmed by a camera crew. Because, of course, one of the main reasons why Netflix was so happy with the Harry and Meghan documentary, which, remember, was a hit. It's the only show that has been a hit as part of their Netflix package.
Because this did not begin after the photograph appeared. It began before the Sussexes landed in Britain. Royal commentators discussed reports that Althorp would be closed during part of Harry and Meghan's visit.
Bringing the kids for footage for the secret Diana documentary. The children at her gravesite at Althorp would be gold for Netflix, but they knew if they brought the children over to do that and didn't take them to see the king, it would make them look bad. So they sprung it on the palace. Hence why Harry has suddenly had a change of heart, even though his security demands have not been met.
Before we continue, one quick thing. One thing I've realized is that most families don't have their important information organized in one place. That's exactly why I recommend the Family Vault, a simple printable and fillable organizer where you can keep everything from important documents and insurance to medical information, passwords. You'll find the link in the description, or you can simply scan the QR code on your screen. Now let's get back to today's story.
One royal reporter had claimed that the children might have an opportunity to visit their grandmother's resting place for the first time. Experts immediately began asking whether the Sussexes wanted far more than a quiet family visit.
Of years of covering Harry and Meghan, all of the games, all of the lies, everything that we've seen since Megxit. They plot, they plan, and this to me just seems like something out of Meghan and Harry's playbook.
They specifically wondered whether there would be photographs. They wondered whether there would be footage, and they connected those suspicions to the approaching 30th anniversary of Diana's passing in 2027. One commentator went even further. She argued that images of Harry's children at Althorp would be gold for a streaming platform.
I think that they would do something like that. And it's also Netflix are hanging on to them. They're throwing them little tidbits and bones. I don't think Netflix are hanging around for Carly Fortune's book. I don't think Netflix are hanging around because they might buy some sort of war film that Harry and Meghan are producing. Would they hang around for footage of Lily and Archie at Althorp? Like, you know, at Diana's gravesite, photographs? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Her theory was savage but simple. A deeply emotional connection between Diana, Harry, and the next generation could generate more global attention than another lifestyle show, another corporate speech, or another carefully polished Montecito interview ever could. That was speculation. The commentators had no proof of a production and did not know what would happen inside the estate.
Why does she think that millions of people are going to enjoy that? You know, stop it, but she can't. She's obsessed with seeing herself all the time. And it's very rude to Diana, it's very rude to the Queen, it's very rude to everyone to look like that and do things like that when it's completely not necessary.
But look at what happened next. The family did appear to visit Althorp. Flowers were photographed. The children were included. Meghan published the image. The precise kind of visual that commentators feared could become commercially irresistible now exists in public.
Charles, you are a legend of Fleet Street. Can you give us a ballpark figure of the value of a photograph of Meghan and the kids back in the UK? What would that go for?
Oh, six figures without a shout. That's
Wow.
Meghan's got her cell phone ready to go.
Yeah.
That does not prove their entire theory, but it gives the theory oxygen. And it creates one chilling retention question. Was the Instagram photograph the only image captured that day, or is there more private footage sitting somewhere that the public has not yet seen?
And then, of course, this is the only thing that Netflix wants from them. Harry and Meghan have produced numerous flops for Netflix. The only thing that did well was Harry and Meghan because it exploited their connection to the royal family. Now they'll exploit Harry's mother to make money too. It's just kind of sad and pathetic, but that is sort of Harry and Meghan. So I think we will definitely, if they are making a documentary, Netflix will 100% pick up this documentary. Not maybe anything else, but this one. Yeah.
Nobody outside the family and their team can answer that. Diana's brother has historically protected the privacy of her resting place. Viewers in the same discussion insisted that filming at the grave would never be allowed and that any secret attempt would provoke absolute fury. That matters.
There is no way on God's green earth Charles Spencer will allow any filming at his sister's grave. They keep it covered year round because of drones trying to get a pic, not a single chance. And if they sneaked it, he would go absolutely ballistic. According to Taz replied, "The Queen didn't think they'd film inside palace grounds, but they did. Even her childhood tea house."
It is a serious reason not to leap from one distant estate photograph to claims of hidden cameras on Diana's island. But critics point to a different issue. They say the camera did not need to reach the grave to create the emotional message. The flowers, the children, Harry, and the Althorp setting already tell the story. The audience supplies the rest.
Visit the king at Highgrove House in the company of Camilla, who had to be there as a witness so they couldn't lie about what happened. Go to Althorp, spend time with Diana's side of the family, and then go back home again. But they had to tell the world.
Yeah, well, these are the people who want privacy, and these are the people who want masses.
That is what made one royal commentator's reaction so fierce. She argued that the problem was not Harry taking his family to remember his mother. Almost nobody objects to that. The problem was allowing a camera to trail the walk toward that private remembrance, and then feeding the result directly into the social media machine.
Like, this is all they have. This is all they got. They don't have anything else that's doing gangbusters or particularly well. So if they can exploit this, I think they'll get a sort of a big success, but I don't think it will settle in people's stomachs very well. I don't think the public will like embrace it.
Harry has spent years attacking the press, reliving the damage caused by photographers, and describing the trauma created when the most vulnerable moments of his life became public property. Yet now a camera was present during one of the most sensitive family visits imaginable, and the resulting image was released not by a tabloid photographer hiding in the bushes, but through Meghan's own account. That contradiction is impossible to ignore.
But that's who Harry has married. He married a woman who cares nothing for him, his pain, or the memory of a woman who would probably have despised her. Meghan's always about the clicks, and this revolting picture is absolutely proof of that.
If cameras are an invasion when outsiders capture Harry's grief, why do they become acceptable when the Sussexes control the image? If Diana's memory is sacred when the press uses it, why can it become content when Meghan presses upload? And if the children deserve total privacy in ordinary life, why place them inside a photograph whose emotional power comes almost entirely from their connection to a grandmother they never met?
She wants to repair the damage with the English side of the royal family. Well, she hasn't bothered to repair any damage at all with her own father, who's still, not seen them, still not seen the children, still hasn't met his son-in-law. I mean, it's patently ridiculous, the whole matter.
This is not privacy. Critics say it is controlled publicity dressed up as intimacy. The Sussexes are not rejecting exposure. Critics say they are rejecting exposure they cannot direct, edit, and monetize. A photographer outside the gate is treated as a threat. A camera inside the family circle becomes storytelling. An unauthorized headline is condemned as intrusion. A carefully timed Instagram post is celebrated as authenticity. But the private moment is still public.
Difficult Duchess was keen to catch the emotional moment on camera as part of their project to make a lucrative documentary about Diana.
The reason we didn't see Meghan is because she does not want to be associated with that car crash.
The audience still consumes it. The only difference is who controls the release. And that control makes the Althorp image look even more calculated in the eyes of Meghan's critics. This was not a photograph dragged into daylight against her wishes. She had time to choose it. She had time to understand what the flowers and location would suggest. She had time to leave it buried in the family archive. Instead, she published it.
To turn it into a show is just beyond anything, and it's amongst all sorts of things that they've done in what they call their summer holiday, because I don't know what they're doing. Not a face do you see, not a face of these little ones. They're always back to the camera, and you just think, what are they doing? They're 5, 7. I mean, it's just disgusting.
She knew royal watchers would identify Althorp. She knew they would connect the bouquets to Diana. She knew the image would dominate coverage. The photograph did not need a caption explaining the emotional meaning. Meghan let Diana's legacy do that work for her. This is where the rumored documentary stops sounding like harmless gossip and starts looking like a potential royal grenade.
This will be a catastrophic mistake by Harry and Meghan because it'll look ghoulish. It'll look like they're ghoulishly kind of exploiting for clicks. I just don't think there's anything more disgusting than that. Very ghoulish, very exploitative, and very self-indulgent.
Another group of royal commentators examined speculation that Harry could revisit his mother's story for the 30th anniversary of her passing. Again, no such film has been confirmed. But experts believe the anniversary creates an enormous commercial opportunity. Diana remains one of the most famous women in modern history.
They've got serious money worries. Harry has made those money worries a lot worse by spaffing it all on this stupid case against the Daily Mail. She's not happy with him. Couples,
but she's not made she's also got her own money woes with like what are they saying, $5 million worth of product just sitting in a warehouse that's not moving. I mean, that's on Meghan too for not having realistic expectations.
Anything promising new emotion, unseen family material or a fresh perspective from her son would detonate across headlines worldwide. The cost, critics argue, could be another catastrophic rupture with William. Commentators have pointed back to the 2017 documentary Diana, Our Mother, when William and Harry spoke publicly about her life and legacy. William indicated that they would not keep doing this forever.
Prince William and Harry apparently agreed that they would talk about their mother's death one last time 10 years ago. And if I think Harry breaks that agreement, I don't think there's any chance ever that he will have a relationship with his brother.
His position has long appeared to be that Diana's memory should not become an endless public franchise. Harry, however, has repeatedly returned to the story. He discussed Diana across interviews, documentaries, and his memoir, Spare.
I personally do not trust Harry and Meghan, and when they have put out statements saying, of course we're not working on a Diana documentary, I personally do not believe them. They are both very obsessed with Diana. Harry has taken ownership over Diana's memory. Meghan likes to dress like Diana. It's not once or twice, it's been continuously. It's not just from a few years ago. This whole trip, there's something more to it.
He has connected his anger at the press, his childhood trauma, his departure from royal life, and even his fears for Meghan to what happened to his mother. Then came one of the strangest Althorp stories Harry has ever told. In Spare, Harry described taking Meghan to Diana's grave in 2022.
Harry would be stupid enough to believe that his wife just wants the children to connect with their grandmother. Harry, they might feel the spirit of your mother like I did, you know, and he'd just follow along with it because it's Harry. But yeah, I think this is more to do with what this trip is about than what it was a reconciliation with the king.
He wrote about rowing her across to the island and placing flowers at the stone. He then left Meghan alone. When he returned, he said she was kneeling with her eyes closed and her palms against the grave. Meghan later told him she had asked Diana for clarity and guidance. That scene was already deeply personal. Harry chose to publish it in a best-selling memoir.
Meghan wanted to get this when Harry went to see his mum's grave. She wanted to get it all on film.
Oh, yeah.
As part of this documentary that they want to make about Diana. I can't, in terms of that production, I simply can wait.
Now, years later, Meghan has inserted Althorp into her own public Instagram narrative. One private moment became a book passage. Another became a photograph. So critics are asking the obvious next question. Does the third become a documentary?
They are so full of nastiness and getting their own feelings back on everybody that they don't care.
Several royal commentators have repeated claims that Meghan was interested in Harry's emotional visit being captured for a potentially lucrative Diana film. One discussion suggested that while Meghan may have wanted to avoid some of the public chaos surrounding the UK trip, she was allegedly far more interested in recording the Althorp moment.
It's ghoulish. That's the only word that can explain Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sharing a private picture of their so-called private children, Archie and Lily, on their so-called private vigil to lay flowers at Princess Diana's grave for the first time.
Those are allegations from commentators, not established facts. But the sequence is what makes them powerful. First came the warning, then came the visit, then came the flowers. Then Meghan released the photograph. And now the same question is exploding from every direction. Was Althorp only a tribute, or was it also a content-gathering mission?
This succession of pictures, and there you'll see all of these pictures have a particular meaning. All of them are designed to clap back at certain elements of our coverage over the past few weeks. She knows exactly what she's doing here, including the weird cosplaying of Princess Diana.
The Sussexes could end this speculation quickly. They could state that no Diana film was recorded, no project is being developed, and no private footage from the visit will ever be sold or released. Until then, Meghan's own post has left the door wide open. And there may be another reason critics are refusing to give her the benefit of the doubt: money.
Meghan actually showing up back in the UK was an admission of failure, was an admission that things weren't going, the way that she'd hoped that they would. Because in my opinion, if Netflix was still beating down their door, if Meet Me at the Lake was the #1 movie on right now, and The Wedding Date was about to premiere and everybody was excited about it, and Harry's Afghanistan movie was coming, coming together wonderfully, and Spotify was still thrilled that Meghan Markle was a partner, I don't think that she would have been in the UK 2 weeks ago. I just simply don't.
Royal commentators have spent months arguing that the Sussex business machine is under growing pressure. Spotify is gone. Their biggest post-royal successes came when they were speaking about the monarchy, attacking the institution, or revealing private family material. Harry's memoir sold because it promised royal secrets. Their Netflix series became a global event because it took viewers inside their conflict with the palace. But that supply of explosive royal material cannot last forever.
Definitely, Meghan's return to the UK is an act of desperation. It's an admission of failure. And don't give me this baloney about, it's about the grandkids, because it's perfectly possible for Charles to meet his grandkids without Meghan being there.
As ever may produce headlines, glossy photographs, and breathless announcements about selling out. But commentators question whether jam, tea, candles, and rosé can generate anything close to the enormous income once expected from the Sussex brand. Harry's legal battles have also been described as brutally expensive. Experts in one recent discussion argued that the collapse or weakening of major entertainment deals has left the couple with far less certainty than they once enjoyed.
They've got big cash worries, and couples with cash worries don't tend to be happy. I suspect all is not well in Montecito. I really do.
There is no proof that financial pressure motivated Meghan's Althorp post, but critics see an uncomfortable commercial calculation. When ordinary content stops shocking people, Diana still does. When lifestyle products struggle to dominate the news, Diana still does. When the Sussexes need the world to look at them again.
Meghan Markle is wearing the same cut swimsuit Princess Diana was famous for. The Royal Grift describing it as absolutely mental, and Meghan's moles saying that it's psycho stalker behavior.
Critics say Meghan has been building this connection to Diana for years. Not once, not twice, repeatedly. Through clothes, poses, products, spiritual stories, publicity campaigns, and now Diana's own family estate. Start with the most commercial example. Meghan scheduled her as Ever Rosé to become available on July 1, what would have been Diana's 64th birthday.
The fake Duchess using Princess Diana's birthday to launch her new wine range.
Friendly coverage described the timing as meaningful and connected the announcement to Meghan's late mother-in-law. Critics were disgusted. Their argument was devastatingly simple. Diana's birthday was no longer only a memorial date. It had become a product launch date. Meghan never met Diana. Yet Diana's birthday helped frame a bottle of Meghan's wine.
For Meghan, who has spoken openly about the emotional connection she feels with her late mother-in-law, describing her as someone I wish I'd had the chance to know.
Then there was the Diana-linked sweatshirt used in Instagram content ahead of With Love Meghan. Commentators accused her of deliberately choosing a look associated with one of Diana's most recognizable casual images while promoting a commercial Netflix project. Maybe one sweater is coincidence. But then came Harper's Bazaar. Meghan appeared in a white shirt and black trousers, seated cross-legged in a composition widely compared with a famous Diana portrait. An experienced celebrity photographer explained that major magazine shoots are not spontaneous accidents.
He wakes up in the morning, picks up the newspaper, and then he's got Meghan pretending to be his mother again. It's honestly psychotic. It's twisted. It's just not normal.
Editors, art directors, and photographers plan references, clothing, lighting, and poses. In his view, even if nobody openly announced that they were recreating Diana, Meghan would have recognized exactly what the white shirt, crossed legs, and visual setup resembled. One image can be dismissed. A decade of side-by-side images becomes harder to wave away. Critics have assembled comparisons showing Meghan in similar white shirts, Sunglasses, hands on hips, poses, and carefully familiar silhouettes.
This is the stuff that psychologists train for. And it is a way, I think, for Meghan to get people to talk about her. It is a way for Meghan, I believe, to manipulate Harry in a really twisted sort of way. But I also think there has got to be something mentally not right there. I believe this is completely pathological.
Before we continue, I want to mention something really quick. Organizing your family's important information is one of those things most of us know we should do, but we keep putting it off. That's exactly why there's the Family Vault. It gives you one place to organize your important documents, insurance, medical information, passwords, and more, so everything is easy to find when it's needed. You'll find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. That's all. Now let's get back to today's story.
They have accused her of borrowing Diana's humanitarian image too, appearing beside vulnerable people, holding hands in hospitals, and ensuring every emotional moment is captured by cameras. Compassion should never be attacked merely because it is photographed. But critics argue that Meghan does not simply help people and happen to be seen. They believe she repeatedly creates a controlled visual message. Diana too, humanitarian royal, misunderstood woman, global icon. Then come the spiritual claims.
On her Instagram story, she's now not only claiming that she speaks to Diana, telling Harry that Diana talks to her during yoga class, she is now wearing her exact outfits for public consumption.
Commentators have repeated stories that Meghan told Harry she could feel Diana's presence or receive signs connected to her. They point to the grave scene in Spare, the request for guidance, and reports that Meghan referenced Diana during deeply personal moments. Some have gone so far as to question whether presenting herself as spiritually connected to Diana reaches Harry at his most vulnerable emotional point. Again, that is interpretation, not proven manipulation. But place everything together.
This is just super creepy now. I'm starting to freak out a little bit, I'm not going to lie. Meghan Markle's cosplaying of Princess Diana, her husband's late mother, has gone to a new level.
The clothes, the poses, the Netflix promotion, the wine released on Diana's birthday, the spiritual messages, the grave story, and now Althorp itself. At what point does admiration stop looking innocent and start looking like a strategy? At what point does remembrance become branding? And how many times can Diana appear beside Meghan's products, projects, and publicity before people stop calling it tribute and start calling it a business model? That leads to the darkest question of all. Does Meghan need Harry because she loves Harry, or because Harry is her permanent access point to Diana?
And I mean, this is not the first time she's purposefully dressed up like Princess Diana. I mean, in fact, look at this, Brittany, over and over and over again.
In one interview later dissected by royal commentators, Meghan emphasized how completely Harry loves her, how strongly he supports her, and how their relationship has expanded into business and creative projects. Critics noticed what they believed was missing: less focus on what Meghan loves about Harry himself, and far more emphasis on what his devotion provides for her. So strip away the romance and look at the commercial reality. Without Harry, Meghan loses the prince. She loses the title at the center of her brand. She loses the royal conflict that made her globally famous. She loses the automatic connection to Britain, the monarchy, Althorp, and the most marketable royal story of the modern age. Without Harry, there is no legitimate path for Meghan to place herself beside Princess Diana. That is why critics are now asking the question more aggressively than ever. Is Harry Meghan's husband, or is he the key that keeps Diana's legacy permanently open for business?
Perfectly possible for Charles to meet his grandkids without Meghan being there. And I'd like Charles to have spent time with his grandchildren alone. And I don't think that Harry and Meghan had to be on royal property. That really sticks in the craw that these incredibly cruel people who have been so obnoxious about the family and so damaging should be back.
The Althorp photograph alone does not prove a documentary. It does not prove that secret footage was captured. It does not prove that Meghan planned the visit for money. A family can visit a grave, carry flowers, and take a photograph without creating a commercial scheme. But the picture proves one crucial thing. A moment connected to Diana's resting place did not remain private. Meghan chose to publish it. And after years of Diana-inspired clothing, poses, promotion, product timing, and public storytelling, critics are no longer willing to treat that choice as harmless. So was this a respectful family tribute that Meghan simply wanted to share? Was it a calculated Instagram image designed to reignite attention? Or was it the first public glimpse of a much larger Diana project still being prepared behind closed doors? And has Meghan finally pushed her use of Diana's legacy too far? Tell us what you think in the comments. If you believe Diana's memory should remain private, say why. If you think the backlash is unfair and this was only a family moment, we want to hear that too. And subscribe to Crown Clash, because this story is not finished. If more Althorp images appear, if new footage is released, or if a Diana anniversary project is announced, we will be following every detail and separating what is proven from what the Sussex spin machine wants the public to believe.